I guess fan service or whatever else. But I mean, I've really enjoyed the series, and this kind of gave you a good, I don't know who's seen it and who's not seen it, so I won't.
Oh no, so far we have seen it.
So
Oh,
far,
okay.
everybody here has seen it.
Oh, great. Then so
Yeah,
we
we're all caught up.
Yeah, so we got the name of the child,
Right.
and I was kind of like, what? Okay. And then they explain that he gets taken from the temple during the fall of the Clone Wars, and I was just like, wow.
I was
okay.
too. That's why. Yeah, we were all like, "Huh?
Yeah.
Really?" Yeah, that was pretty.
Yeah, because all this time I was thinking it was before, and it was Baby Yoda.
Yeah. We all kind of thought that, especially with the cloning guys, because you get the patch on the arm, and then they find the base, and it's I guess that's where they're working out of. And I mean, just blown away. And then when I saw Ahsoka, I was just like, oh man, this is really getting, I mean, they're bringing everything kind of
Together.
full circle,
Yeah.
And I loved watching her work with those lightsabers. So that was just, oh my gosh, I really enjoyed that. That was really kind of special for me to see her live action,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cartoon.
Yeah. Because you plus you've never really seen anybody wield lightsabers the way she did.
Right.
And to see it live action was just, it was amazing.
Right.
Definitely loved it.
And it got a Mandalorian staff.
Oh man, that Beskar spear.
Yeah.
Oh,
pure. And he got Beskar. It now.
Oh man, he's tallying up quite a little collection of stuff, isn't he? Boba Fett's armor, now a staff. A spear of Beskar.
The jetpack.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting quite a collection, so it's going to be interesting to see what next week will bring. Because it seems like every few episodes or so, I mean, well, I'm not going to say every few, but he's acquired so much.
Yeah.
And it's not like one thing a season, like one big thing a season. So.
Yeah, I'd like to see who baby what was the name?
It was
Grugo.
Baby Grugo calls when he gets to the temple.
You know what their rumors have it. You know who they're saying.
No.
Luke.
I thought Luke was lost.
No, he's on that island.
Well, they're saying that this is before all that because
this
is right after the Return of the Jedi, so he should be building or starting to get knowledge for the new Jedi temple or Jedi Academy that he's starting.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm kind of like, wow. Yeah, I mean, if they go that route, it might even be Mace Windu. Who knows?
They could bring Luke back. I mean, he's still around, but
they got the de-aging technology to do it camera-wise, so it would be nice. I have a lot of high hopes for the franchise. Right now, again, I know it's a lot of fan service that they're doing, but we need that right now. We really need to feel safe and comfortable with Star Wars and just let it ride,
Yeah.
But I was truly like, wow, how are they doing that? Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have really got some ideas on how to connect these pieces. Because, I never would have thought about how they did all that to connect it to Clone Wars, and because a lot of us haven't even seen the cartoon shows.
But yeah, I haven't seen the cartoon shows.
Yeah,
I knew that she was a part of it because I've seen like the advertisements and stuff for the cartoon shows, but I haven't seen them.
I've seen a little bit. I can't say that I've seen a whole bunch, but I have seen a little bit.
I never really cared for Ahsoka. It took me sitting down seriously one day and watching Clone Wars to really start to like her and to watch her story arc evolve.
Hmm.
When I saw it evolve, I was like, wow, that it was heartbreaking, but at the same time, it showed you how strong of a character she was.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna share clips of it.
Well,
You guys see that?
yes.
Yeah.
And since we've already seen, we're not going to get spoilers. So.
But as excitement builds for what
And they're even calling him Baby Yoda.
Let's take a look back at some of the Easter eggs.
Right.
They're calling him Baby Yoda.
Yes, but we know now that's not the case.
Some moments and incredibly deep Star Wars references that you didn't even realize. What are some of the best and which need to pay off in season 2? Well, take a look at our list today and find out. What was that weapon Moff Gideon whipped out to cut himself from the remains of the cracked TIE fighter?
Man, I cannot wait to see
As
that.
the animated Star Wars series,
My internet connection is unstable.
the
So
Dark Saber.
there we go.
Appearance just raises
Dark
a lot more
Saber.
questions for season 2. For starters, how did Moff
Can you hear
Gideon
that?
get it? The last time
Yeah.
I've seen was in Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
It was in the hands of the good guys. So the fact that Moff Gideon has it now probably isn't good news. On the bright side, we'll probably get more answers about it in the new season. We have to, right? No way they just introduce such an important weapon like the Dark Saber and not explain anything about it. But it does accomplish making Moff Gideon even more interesting than he was. Fans of The Mandalorian have been asking this one since the show was first announced. Will we see Boba Fett? Well, we're in luck. It's been announced that Tamora Morrison, who played Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones, will return in The Mandalorian playing Boba Fett. That's great news. But the really interesting thing is if we've already seen Boba Fett in the show. In an early episode, we see Mando visit a place where a lot of other Mandalorians are hanging out and probably talking about how much they love guns. But one background figure sparked a lot of attention. It was only for a brief second, but it really looks like Boba Fett is hanging out in the background. If it's not him, then it's someone who looks a lot like him, and the producers of the show were just trolling fans with the character's inclusion. But now we know Boba Fett is definitely returning. This definitely could have been him. Throughout this list, you'll see fun Easter eggs that prove the producers were obviously big fans of Star Wars, and it's interesting to see how they've responded to some of the franchise's past mistakes or goofs. For instance, The Empire Strikes Back includes a scene where a random background character is running around holding what is clearly an ice cream maker, and that's been a long-running joke for the last 40 years. But The Mandalorian actually brought that back by having the client pull out a very similar-looking device and gave it a name, a Camtono. It looks like a complicated storage device, but my question is, does it still make ice cream? Cara Dune was a standout character in season 1 of The Mandalorian, but her backstory still remains mostly a mystery. We know that she was a former shock trooper working for the rebellion, and something happened that made her focus solely on revenge against the Empire. And it wasn't until the final episode of the season that we figured out why she hates the Empire so much. Turns out she's
a good
originally from the
character.
planet Alderaan.
Yeah.
And as
Yeah,
we
she
all
is.
know, Alderaan was the first casualty of the Death Star. To quote Obi-Wan, millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. Yeah, if the bad guys blew up my home world, I'd probably be pretty peeved too.
They need to keep her on.
The best thing to come from The Mandalorian season 1, and most likely people will say Baby Yoda. The child, which is weird to call him since he's 50, stole all our hearts, and we all wanted to get our hands on that sweet Baby Yoda merchandise. He was irresistible in the show too, as a lot of people wanted to capture Baby Yoda, including the mysterious client. But it wasn't ever clear what they exactly wanted to do with the adorable green guy. Well, a piece of clothing may have revealed the answer. The doctor working for the client, Dr. Pershing, had a logo on it that was the same one seen on Kamino back in Attack of the Clones. Fans know that Kamino is where the cloning facilities were held, so it's possible they were trying to clone Baby Yoda's Force-sensitive DNA. Mostly all the directors for the show's first season appeared in some capacity in the show. Obviously, Taika Waititi voiced IG-11, but an earlier episode had a quick voice cameo from Jon Favreau as well. Rick Famuyiwa, Deborah Chow, and Dave Filoni all appear as X-Wing pilots flying together in a neat scene. Funny enough, the only director not to have some sort of cameo in the first season was Bryce Dallas Howard, who is definitely one of the more seasoned actresses in the group. Let's hope this trend of including directors in bit parts continues in season 2. That shouldn't be too hard. Carl Weathers is set to direct an episode, and he already has a solid role in the show. Throughout the series, Mando never takes off his mask or ever reveals his actual name. Well, at least not until the very end of the season where he has to take his mask off in front of IG-11. It's in that episode where Mando's name is revealed to be Din Djarin, and while that should be a really emotional, heartfelt moment, it's kind of undercut by anyone who watched Pedro Pascal's interviews for the show. He actually revealed the character's name before the season had actually aired, and although it was nice to get confirmation that he wasn't in fact playing Boba Fett like many people assumed at first, it does rob that finale of the emotion behind hearing his name for the first time. But that's just a minor nitpick.
Yep.
The Star Wars Holiday Special
Oh my
is an
God.
interesting part.
The holiday special.
The infamous 1978 television variety show is constantly made fun of nowadays, but surprisingly, some elements of that special have now become canon, like Life Day. In the special, Chewbacca's family waits for him to get home to celebrate Life Day, and the show even ends with Princess Leia singing a Life Day carol. Yeah, it's strange to say the least, but Life Day apparently is a real thing. In The Mandalorian, the Mythrol prisoner says to Mando how he wanted to get home to his family for Life Day. Given his status at the end of the episode, I don't think he made it. In the Prisoner episode, we briefly meet a New Republic soldier that many fans probably don't recognize from his physical appearance, but Star Wars fans certainly know his voice. The soldier was played by actor Matt Lanter, who was the voice for Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars The Clone Wars TV show. That Mandalorian episode is particularly jam-packed with notable guest stars, but Lanter's cameo was probably the coolest one. It's always nice to see voice actors step out and dabble in live-action appearances. So in a way, you can say Anakin was in The Mandalorian Season 1 and not technically be wrong. But given what happened to this soldier at the end, don't expect a return appearance in Season 2. We already knew Cara Dune was not someone you should mess with, but The Mandalorian continued to give us awesome scene after awesome scene of Cara kicking major butt. Near the end of the season, when Mando tracks her down again asking for her help, we find Cara engaging in a friendly fight against another alien creature. Although it may not be too obvious right away, the alien she's fighting is a Dathomirian Zabrak, who is the same race as Darth Maul. Their alien species is fascinating and hasn't really been explored in live-action Star Wars outside The Phantom Menace. Here's hoping The Mandalorian Season 2 features more appearances by those spiky-headed fighters because the world needs more of them. My question is, can you juice an orange in those horns? Mando's pulse rifle is another callback to the Star Wars Holiday Special. In that variety show, there's an animated segment that includes the first appearance of Boba Fett. Looking back at it now, the animated sequence is hard to watch, but it does see Boba Fett wielding an interesting-looking rifle. Officially, it's called an Amban Phase Pulse Blaster, and let's just say you don't want to be hit by it. The Mandalorian sees Mando wielding this same type of rifle, which just again goes to show how much detail creator Jon Favreau put into the tiny things. Does anyone else now want to see an animated spin-off of Mando and his pulse rifle? Just me? Okay. If you're going to insult Mando, chances are you won't be walking away without a serious injury. Right away in the first episode, we're able to see just how capable of a fighter that Mando is by watching him take on some scary-looking people who confront him in a bar. We may have been distracted by the attacker's imposing physical stature, but it was the language he was speaking that may have caught the ears of a lot of hardcore Star Wars fans. Turns out, the man was speaking Huttese, the language of the Hutts. It's interesting because the man is clearly not a Hutt, and that just raises a few questions. One of the biggest running gags in all of Star Wars is, of course, the fact that stormtroopers can't hit anything. So, of course, the episode directed by Taika Waititi had to joke about that. In one of the season's funniest moments, two stormtroopers sit around looking for something to do. One of them pulls out his gun and tries to shoot a nearby piece of junk and keeps missing. His friend, wanting to also get in on the fun, also pulls out his gun and starts blasting, only to miss as well. I guess it's true. All stormtroopers do, in fact, have horrible aim and can't hit anything. Well, I take it back. Stormtroopers are able to hit something, and that's defenseless, cute baby Yodas in a scene that was probably similar to the Alderaan explosion, where a million voices all cried out at once. The internet lost their mind when one of the stormtroopers straight up punched baby Yoda after it bit him. I think that guy quickly became pop culture's greatest enemy, don't you think? But here's a fun fact about those stormtroopers. They were played by recognizable funny men. One of them was Adam Pally, known for happy endings in the Mindy Project, while the one who actually punched Baby Yoda was none other than Jason Sudeikis. And trust me, the actor received a lot of flack for that moment on Twitter. If you make a list of the most despised characters in Star Wars, you'll probably find Jar Jar Binks tops just about every one of them. The annoying Gungan caused a lot of fan outrage when the prequel movies were released, and The Mandalorian had a great joke commenting on just how much hate Jar Jar ended up getting. While working with Mayfield, the mercenary jokes that Mando hides his face because he could be a Gungan underneath the mask. He even throws out the standard Yosa language Gungans are most known for. It's a nice commentary about how Gungans became so reviled after the prequel movies that they would have had to hide their faces behind a mask. One of the best scenes in the original Star Wars was the classic trash compactor moment. Our heroes were trapped in a tight situation with the walls literally closing in on them. As they tried to stop from getting crushed, they used a strange-looking pipe to try and slow things down with no success. And really dedicated fans of Star Wars noticed this same pipe pop up in The Mandalorian. While Mando looks for a hover bassinet, the same type of pipe, right down to its odd design, can be seen propped up in the alley. Is it the same pipe? Probably not, but it's fun to think of some sort of elaborate backstory to why this particular pipe ended up in that exact location, isn't it? Kuiil is Mando's greatest ally. I have spoken. But joking aside, Kuiil did prove to be a great friend and even lifesaver to the titular Mandalorian, but not a lot is known about his backstory. For that, you have to look to Star Wars history to understand how much Kuiil valued his freedom. The alien is part of a race known as the Ugnaughts, who are usually responsible for hard labor. In The Empire Strikes Back, it's shown that Ugnaughts are the ones who helped build Cloud City up to its extraordinary heights. Kuiil said how he was an indentured servant to the Empire, and given what we know about Ugnaughts, freedom is something that they would value above everything else. When the Empire really needed to get information out of someone, they used the IT interrogator droid. It was seen in A New Hope when Vader wanted to get info out of Princess Leia, and the droid was seen again in The Mandalorian Season 1. Who's making the droid? Someone needs to put those things out of commission. While Season 1 was airing in Disney+, fans started to question just how much of the Mando character was Pedro Pascal acting, and how much of it was just a random stuntman with Pedro Pascal dubbing over the character. Some on-set reports seem to suggest Pedro wasn't in the suit all that much for Season 1, but if reports are to be believed, that's going to change in Season 2, with Pedro allegedly there in person a bit more, which I guess is good news. Honestly, it would probably be hard to know the difference given how much armor Mando wears. John Favreau pulled a lot of Star Wars references from the original movie, even the holiday special, but this deep cut reference actually comes from the toy world. In the episode The Reckoning, we see Big Bad Moff Gideon call in backup, and then a whole flock of stormtroopers show up in an Imperial troop transport vehicle. The vehicle is actually a fun Easter egg, as that transport vehicle was actually the first official Star Wars toy made that was not a recreation of something in the movie. The toy was originally made in 1979, and although a lot of models have been made since then, the one seen in the show actually resembles the original toy. That's pretty cool. As the saying goes, the more things change, the more things stay the same. We get to visit the Mos Eisley Cantina again in The Mandalorian, and it seems like the same wretched hive of scum and villainy that we saw back in A New Hope. But what's one major difference? Droids. In a really great detail, the show was able to comment on how things have changed since the first Star Wars movie. In A New Hope, Obi-Wan and Luke had to leave the droids outside because droids weren't allowed in the bar. But times have changed a lot since then. In less than 10 years, the cantina seems to have changed that rule, with droids not just allowed, but even tending to the bar. What droid union petitioned for this change? Or did the owners of the bar want to cut back on costs by having droids bartend rather than humans? I guess we'll never know for sure. Even though it takes place in a galaxy far, far away, the Star Wars universe is packed to the brim with different kinds of alien species. The Mandalorian explores a lot of different places throughout its first season, and we catch glimpses of alien races that will be familiar to fans of the original trilogy. The first episode sees Mando encounter a Kubaz, which was only seen one other time in A New Hope, as well as later walks through a marketplace which sees a Kowakian monkey lizard trapped in a cage about to be cooked over an open flame. If you remember, a Kowakian monkey lizard was seen in Return of the Jedi being served to Jabba the Hutt. His name was Salacious B. Crumb. I wonder if that Kowakian in the cage in The Mandalorian had an equally fun name. I guess we'll never know. Never go against someone who has the high ground. Everyone knows that. Well, except for Anakin, of course. The fact that Obi-Wan had the high ground has become something of a joke on the internet, so it was a fun callback to hear the Mandalorian reference it. While hunting the assassin Shand with Toro, the duo gets pinned down when Shand pulls out a massive rifle. Mando comments how she has the high ground and will wait for them to make the first move. See, Anakin, everyone knows not to make a move against an opponent who has a tactically superior vantage point. If only Mando was around on Mustafar, things could have gone a lot differently. In the 7th episode of the show, Mando asks for Cara Dune's help in taking down the Client. Though, in order to blend in, Cara has to cover her Rebel Alliance arm tattoo. And that's a good way to hide her true allegiances, but that's not the only tattoo she has. She has a small bit of ink on her face, and if anyone were to get close enough to see, they will notice it's also a Rebel insignia. You might say having a tattoo on your face saying you're a rebel is dangerous, but for one, the tattoo is hard enough to see even up close, and two, I think Cara can handle herself if anyone says anything about it. Just looking at any episode of The Mandalorian, it's clear that this show ain't cheap. There was definitely a lot of money pumped into that series to make it look and feel like a real Star Wars adventure, and they absolutely succeeded. But the actual price tag is still staggering. It's been reported that Season 1 cost roughly $100 million to make, with reports stating that each of the show's 8 episodes costing around $15 million each. That's crazy. But just between you and me, most of that budget was spent paying Baby Yoda's salary. That little dude was a tough negotiator. What was your favorite Easter egg in The Mandalorian Season 1? How excited are you?
Wow, that joke was forced.
Comments below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for more awesome Star Wars content like this. Thanks for watching Screen Rant. I have spoken.
Well, that was very interesting. That was interesting.
Yeah, they have a lot of little Easter eggs in there.
The show is interesting, so yeah.
Yeah. Did you get to see today's
episode?
I have seen today's episode.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, Carl.
Hey,
Yeah.
I love that. That was nice.
Yeah, it had a whole bunch of little Easter eggs in it. It was neat.
Yeah, that was interesting. I was like, wow. Like, now I want to go back and watch because I like to catch all. Yeah, I missed something.
Yeah.
Imagine if they actually had hidden Easter eggs in it. Actual Easter eggs.
I know, right?
And then have Baby Yoda eat them.
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Exactly.
Because it seems like he likes that shape. He likes the circle things.
Oh, yeah.
And eggs.
Although those eggs look suspiciously like Dragon Balls in that one episode.
They look like tadpoles and fish eggs. They
I
look
think
like
that's what they.
caviar.
I think that's what they ended up being.
Frog eggs, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know that I would eat that, but okay.
Yeah, not my cup of not my cup of tea either. But literally, with the size of them and the color of them, they literally look like Dragon Balls
I've
from Dragon Ball
I've
Z.
heard of it. No, I've heard of it. I haven't really actually seen that. So I'm sure people around here have.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that was interesting. I know Dan actually he has more, but we figured we'd kind of break it up so then we can like chit chat in between instead of just watching all the way through. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I liked how they were saying that the stormtroopers can't hit anything, and they were like trying to shoot the little piece of junk there, and they kept missing and kept missing and kept missing.
That whole scene caused a huge. I mean, the next day, my Facebook feed just lit up about how could they hit the child? And I'm just like,
I know.
I don't get it. Then of course the egg thing. I don't know, because Anakin can walk in and wipe out a whole thing of kids. Nobody says anything.
And
but
apparently, he's not as much of a child as you'd think.
I know. I guess apparently, yeah, that's what we found out.
Why can't he speak though?
Hmm?
Why can't he speak if he's that old?
I'm not sure.
Well, it sounds as though maybe it was like a traumatized thing.
Yeah, that's what they
Sometimes-
made it sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes trauma can take you back to a younger age. So
Right. That's why I'm saying the way they portrayed it, it seems as though it's some kind of the whole trauma from the temple, being ripped from the temple, yada yada,
and being pair bonded, that's helping him kind of come out of his shell.
Right. And it makes it a little bit more comical because it's more of an unlikely
Pairing.
friendship, so to speak.
And just like Yoda, he's not quite what he seems at first.
Right.
It also makes him a little more impish too.
Well, I think we're going to see a lot more of him doing a lot more with that power, going towards that dark side, because all he's seen so far is violence. I mean, even Den had said himself, well, the kid's seen worse. And I was just like, yeah, you might want to rethink your parenting skills there, bud.
What's also hilarious is the kid's obsession with that shifter knob.
Yeah.
Including literally using the force on it.
Right.
Well, we saw what he wanted. When he wanted those cookies, it was the same way. He asked for it, and then he was like, okay, I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
He literally forced them away from the kid.
Like stealing from a baby.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, that was. I saw something that on Facebook about the fact that because the macaroons were in the show, now they're back to being popular or something. And I was like, what? People have never seen macaroons before? I don't know.
Because they
Those
put
are
them on the
actually
show.
macarons. Macaroons are completely different than macarons.
Oh, well, whatever. I'm saying
But
it wrong.
both have been
I'm not-
around for a long time. Well,
Okay.
it's really easy to mix. It's really easy to mix them up because they're spelled almost exactly the same, but they're two
Right,
different.
but I'm also I was also, from Philadelphia, so we'll just leave it at that. That's where that comes from. So, but yeah,
But-
I mean, I'm like,
ooh, yeah.
well, I've seen them in bakeries and stuff before.
Both of them. I've seen both of them in bakeries. Both.
Oh
kinds.
yeah,
The macaroons and the macarons, because the macarons are a cookie and the macaroons are, and they're made completely differently, which is
Right.
hilarious. That there's literally a 1-letter difference between the two.
okay,
Macaroon, and it's like one extra O.
okay.
And it's
So
I never understood why they had two cookies with the same, almost exactly the same name, except for like one letter. But whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. As we digress. Well, anyway, but I've heard that they are becoming, people are really actually looking for them now.
There's a company that sells them for $50.
No, I'm good. I don't eat cookies. I don't eat a lot of sweets. So I think I'll be okay.
Well,
I mean, I'm
thought
not gonna say I don't eat a lot of sweets. I probably wouldn't eat those, but
they're official.
right.
what I thought was interesting was seeing his Mandalorian buddies come along, and then they take off their face mask, and he's like, "Who are you?"
Wait a minute.
Yeah. And
Like,
then
where'd you get those?
They explain that he's part of a cult sect of Mandalore, and they're part of the what they say, the ruling class.
Death Watch. They
Yeah,
branched off. They
They
want to follow the way of
called him the
Mandalore.
Watch. They
yeah.
called him the Watch in the episode, though.
Yeah, but there is no more Watch after we're at the Rebels. Whatchamacallit lost his head to Darth Maul, and we all know what happened to Darth Maul. So, you know what I mean? She's
Yeah,
the Watch.
that guy was had a leg up on a few people for a little while, but
I thought that was kind of interesting, though, that they brought him back
What is that?
only
I'm sorry.
to,
Where?
facilitate his death a little bit later. So, wait a minute.
I remember that.
to the same person,
I remember that. I
to
didn't.
the exact same person.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a read there, but I've heard of it.
Like, okay, I didn't finish the job the first time. Let's fix that.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. It was Obi-Wan.
I think that's how.
Yeah.
That was Obi-Wan.
Well, got rid of the first half. Let's get rid of the second half.
Wow. That is a sad way to go.
Yeah.
But what did you guys think of Cobb Vash for the Marshal who had Boba Fett's armor?
Oh, they should make a show just about him. He was cool.
I know, right?
He was an interesting character.
Yeah, that was interesting. It added a whole nother dimension there.
At least then you'd have facial expressions on a character.
Yes, and if you hand him an ear of corn, it'd be corn on the cob.
I really like this character. I was kind of hoping they would go, like you said, we're gonna explore these characters. You really need to explore him. They say Boba Fett's getting a series now because of the fan uproar when they saw him.
Cool.
And of course, Cara Dune's series is kind of up in the air because of all the Twitter stuff.
That's nice.
But
yeah.
Well, I guess pretty much they're getting what they wanted out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a whole bunch more mileage,
Oh yeah.
I mean, not that I'm sure nobody really minds because it is really keeping everybody occupied, so to speak. And since there's not a lot of movies out, or you can't even really go to a movie, they're at least getting their dime here,
Yeah.
And of course, everybody's jumping on there and watching, but yet I am too, so I'm not,
Well, all I know is that if Boba Fett meets up with any of the clones, he might end up being beside himself overseeing them.
I know, right?
Well, you think they'd actually clone him?
Boba Fett is a clone.
Yeah.
A clone of Jango Fett. And Jango Fett was the template for all of the clone troopers. So that's what I'm saying. If he saw one of the clone troopers, Boba Fett might be beside himself when he sees them.
Yep, you never know.
I was kind of hoping that we get to see Rex. You know, we got to see Ahsoka. Maybe we'll get to see Rex.
Hey, we might see Rex in effect.
Yeah. It would be nice.
Yeah, the spiders and the frog one was kind of different, and then they wrecked the ship.
Oh my god.
That ship was destroyed.
Adventures in babysitting.
Yeah, that's pretty much what was going on there. Yeah.
What would you think about it when he went to the planet and the Mon Calamari guy fixed it up with netting?
I know. And spiders and
Oh my goodness.
I gave you 1,000 credits.
I know, right? That's what I got.
Oh man.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's like fixing a spaceship with duct tape.
I'm sure if they had some duct tape, they probably would have used it.
and
Duct tape, JB Weld, spackle.
I don't know. Some of that seems like it might be a little bit too much high tech for them. Because I think they were going very old school, like, you know, way back in the day before
like Waddle and Daub days.
Mm-hmm.
well, we had a lot of hype on this meeting. A lot of people said they were going.
Well, you never know. I mean, I'm lucky to be awake right now.
Well,
Oh,
it could
yeah.
also be
She did
there's usually a link sent, so
she did the whole Black Friday thing. So she was up at 4 o'clock and then out of the house at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I was disappointed by what I saw in stores for Black Friday. It was sad this year.
Well, I mean,
Understandably, but
I did get some stuff, so I got some stuff that I was kind of looking for. I didn't go too crazy, but yeah.
I guess with the holidays, of course, and people being off work, you know. But I was
and
just
it being
excited. Go ahead.
and it being Black Friday.
I was just excited that we're going to get the Mando show on a Friday, and I didn't have to go to work.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
That was
So it gave you plenty of time to watch it.
Oh yeah, you know. Wake up, I had my bowl of cereal, and I was just like, yes. So I really enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting that the child did not really respond to Ahsoka yet. Din's like, hey, you want this?
Well, I'm hoping we don't get one of those just, you know, okay, we gave you some good episodes, now here's a bunch of filler.
Yeah.
You know, they've got to really keep this. I mean, they're on a pretty good wave right now. They've got to really
Right.
They seem to understand it too, the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, they got a good grip on it.
Well, yeah, and literally, if they do, you know, start to tank off there a little bit, then everybody's going to get all frustrated and they'll hear about it. I'm sure quite quickly.
They've got a lot to live up to, but this show seems to be living up to it because it got the universe right. If you get the universe right, the stories almost tell themselves.
Unlike the new Star Trek.
That's for another night.
Jar Jar Trek.
I'm so hurt by that.
It is still part of the Jar Jar verse, even though it's not the other version.
Yeah.
because it's still his production company.
Yeah.
The only thing I was wondering is how come we haven't got like a season 1 Blu-ray yet? I mean, we're already knee deep in season 2 and they haven't even dropped season 1 on Blu-ray.
Because they want you to stream it.
Disney Plus.
Oh
It's
God,
a
I need to
Disney
think
Plus
about that.
exclusive.
You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
so then the
If
only
they
way you
release-
can watch it is pay them money.
Yep. Oh,
So then
man.
they keep getting that dime. I know it's not just a dime, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that. You're right, because the moment Mando was over, I turned my subscription off and I was like,
Oh.
seen everything that I wanted to see. I'll wait. And then I think I cut it on for a month, watched it again, cut it off, and then I waited until this season.
Yeah.
They're the
Right.
main
See, that's the
own
thing. They
their
want the
own.
money.
Disney is the main one who owns their own streaming service
Right.
and owns the movies and television shows that go on it, while everybody else is basically just licensing it to places like Hulu and Netflix and things like that. So it's in their financial interest to put it out on disc, while Disney is under no obligation to do it because they own it.
And that way they can guarantee that you're going to pay that
Yep.
every month. And then you're going to be like, and then they're going to hope that, they get enough people that forget and don't realize that they're still paying for it.
Don't shut it off.
And
Yeah.
then don't shut it off.
That's happened to me.
Yeah.
Forgot to turn
That's
it
what I'm
off,
saying. It happens to everybody. And I'm sure they're like, oh, yeah, they don't even know.
Yeah.
Because then because you have it on that auto pay, so they're like, okay, well, we've got them. And then the thing is, yeah, they're probably, I'm sure, I don't know, I haven't really looked. I haven't been looking for movies or anything lately, but I don't know that there was a whole bunch of like newer releases for like the kids Disney movies and such. I haven't really, like I said, I haven't really looked. I haven't really noticed, but I mean, because they want the kids to be like, mommy, I want to watch that. It's only on Disney Plus. That's what the commercial said, because that's where they get their information. So
movies that never make it to the theaters
right
can go exclusively to their service, and that
Right.
means that's the only place you can watch it, which means
Yep.
you pretty much got to pay them.
Yeah.
Right. And then you get the kids nagging the mom. The mom's like, fine.
Disney has their own empire.
Right. Exactly.
That is their way.
Yeah. Well, it is their way. Yep. And I think we've been reminded that quite a few times during the last few episodes.
Yeah.
I keep trying to buy some of the Disney exclusive merchandise that they sell through their website, and they keep pretty much being almost constantly out of it.
Wow.
Like consistently out of it.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Well, I miss the Disney store, so just
oh
saying.
yeah, so do I. I do too. I do too.
Why did the Disney store quit?
They were saying in Lynn Haven, they were saying that they weren't making enough business.
Well, the one at Lynn Haven was open the longest around here because all the other ones had closed, but the one at Lynn Haven was still open. And then I think they closed all of them. I don't know if the one that's in New York City is still open.
Wow.
That I don't know, but they had closed all of them and they went exclusively to online purchases only. And that I don't remember how many years ago that was, but yeah, the Disney store. My home away from home.
I liked the store because you could pretty much just walk in and find stuff that you couldn't find anywhere else.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, and I actually, well, I worked there, but I didn't actually make any money because I bought so much. So it was kind of like a wash. No, I actually probably owed them money at the end of the day, but anyway, because it was just a part-time job. And but it was a lot of fun, and it was over Christmas, and they actually wanted me to stay, but in between times I had found out that I was pregnant with twins, so I couldn't really work anyway. So, and that was pretty much that was the end of that. And but they, and I don't know if they do it online, but when you pre-order, I would pre-order VHS. Yes, I'm dating myself, but I would pre-order the VHS and get the lithograph things with it.
Ooh, yeah.
And that was like an in-store exclusive thing. So I don't know if they do anything like that online to pre-order. I know there are some things on other places that if you pre-order, you get extra stuff. The girls have done that, but I'm not sure how the Disney store is online is working any of that.
Yeah, I don't know how the Disney one is, but I've seen a lot of other ones. It's like if you order the new Back to the Future movies from specific companies,
Right.
each one of them has different things.
Promo.
That comes with. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean,
And-
they used to do that with any movie that they released. I think pretty much all of them, they had something like I had ordered Home on the Range, and I got a free t-shirt with it. But it was only at the Disney store if you did it there. And then I had gotten like pictures. I don't know what else I had gotten. I got other stuff, pins, and they had those collector pin things. And then they had the like the beanies, like the Beanie Babies.
Oh yeah.
When that was a big thing, it was like if you pre-ordered the movie, you got like one of them or something like that, or two of them or something like that, whichever. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. So
They also had a lot of Muppet stuff in the Disney store.
yeah.
I noticed. I love Muppet stuff. Although
Yeah.
I prefer the Muppet merchandise when it was still Jim Henson.
Right. Yes. Well, I mean, they didn't, when they had the Disney store open, they didn't actually, they didn't get the Star Wars stuff till later. So they didn't really ever have any of the Star Wars stuff in there, but I'm sure if they did, they probably would not have closed maybe, because it would have been.
Especially if they had Star Wars stuff.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If they had that, then they would have like definitely a constant influx of business.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different there's so many different of the movies, the series, the cartoon stuff, and what have you. And then I mean they could put all the Lego stuff in there, and
Then they could sell lightsabers.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But nowadays they don't necessarily do any of those stores like that. And now you can get stuff like that other places, but they could have. Well, I got mine at the Disney store and stuck the higher price on it, and people will buy it.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what they're doing with the Galaxy's Edge.
What is that? I don't know.
Galaxy's Edge is basically the section of Disneyland and Disney World.
Oh, okay.
Exclusively Star Wars.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See,
Nice. I've been there. I've been to one in California.
Uh-huh.
My wife and I went in October of 2019. And as a fan, I was in awe at seeing everything out, but you know, $8 for a Coke, you know, and you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't care that it looks like a thermal detonator. $8 for a Coke.
It's cool looking though.
I mean, behind me, I don't think you can see it, but I've got a Millennium Falcon popcorn holder thing, and I got all kinds of little trinkets and little stuff that I went and got.
Okay.
Lockie and Monkey Lizard.
I loved it. I mean, as a fan, I loved it. The rides and stuff. I didn't get on the Rise of the Resistance, but I did get on the Millennium Falcon ride, and had to control myself because the pilot was crashing the ship up and down, and I'm like, oh my god, you know. It was great. The sights and the sounds. A lot of people were complaining that they didn't get the original characters, but I didn't really care because, you know, I'm here and you can't see any of the other Disney attractions. So you're on Batu. When you get there, you feel like you're in another place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They really actually kind of played it off well.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure there's gonna be people that have one issue or another with something because it's not exactly how it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm sure the temperature may not have been exactly the temperature, you know.
It was on that
Galaxy's Edge does not have Galaxy's Edge on anything in Galaxy's Edge. It's all, what is it, Black Spire Outpost or whatever it is?
No, they've got bags that say Galaxy's Edge on it. I got a bag right there that says Galaxy's
No,
Edge. On
I thought that was just in the Disney part.
Mm-mm.
Where in the Galaxy's Edge it
In
went full
Galaxy's
theme.
Edge because they got merchant shops when you go down and there's like a little thing.
Yeah.
Where you got the pet. They got the little pets in like little fake cages and whatnot. And then on across the way was a lady that was selling t-shirts, keychains, and I got a bag that says Galaxy's Edge on it. And I got tired of carrying around my my lizard, and I had my R2 unit on my little backpack. And as you're going through the park, they've got these radio signals that make your R2 unit react every so often. And like I said, it was pretty cool. Yeah. It's a little pricey.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? We spent $1,000 getting in, food, you know, I mean, but again, I bought the R2 unit, I got all the accessories for it, the backpack, the lizard monkey, what do they call that? A legacy lightsaber.
Did you build one?
I was afraid about taking it on the plane. I didn't know how that was going to react, and I didn't want to send it, you know, in my baggage. So I was really afraid to do that. But my wife kept telling me, she's like, go do it. You're going to regret it. I said, no, I'll buy a legacy lightsaber. So I got 1/2 of the Temple Guard's lightsaber. And I said, if I ever go back, of course, I'm going to get the other half so I can actually make it. But I wanted to do that because I see the videos for it. And man, I thought that would have just, you know, that would have put me over the top. You know, hearing Yoda's voice and how to do the lightsaber, and that just would have put me over the top.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an immersive thing. It's expensive but immersive.
Well, anything like that is. I mean, even at Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know how much their drinks cost because I have the refillable cups, but so I don't pay that price. And then but everything that's in there, it's like, I'm like, really? I really don't think I'm going to pay that price for that. I mean, we can go to the dollar store and pick up something that's almost just like that.
Well, it's like you can actually buy the Cokes. They're basically the Christmas ornament Coke bottles with just a different lid on it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
That's literally what they are.
Yeah.
For what?
They threw a label on it from the Batu.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
So they Star Wars themed. They put basically a different
okay.
different label on it and a different lid.
I thought you were saying for like at Busch Gardens. I was like, I don't think they have anything like that. No, I just get my cup refilled and keep rolling.
Oh no, I've got one of those cups too. So
yeah.
The
I've
interesting
got
thing,
the season thing for that too.
but too, they
And
had a
everything.
thing
Okay,
where
I'll be
you
right
could
back.
actually go to your water fountain and fill
Okay.
up your own bottle of whatever you had. And I was like, well, how come they don't? Of course, they wouldn't advertise it because they want you to buy the $8 Coke.
Right. And
You
you
know.
did.
But they had a nice little line, and here's the part of this is a refresher. You can fill up your water bottles or your whatever, and people are whipping out little baggies of treats, and I'm sitting there going, why did we do that?
Right.
Now I know, of course, but
If you go regularly, the passes for these different things pay for themselves
yeah,
quickly.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're a
Right.
resident of the area, yeah. But
It's
Yeah,
drastically cheaper.
I'd like to go down and see all that, but yeah, it's not happening.
Never
that's
been to
okay.
Disney World. Been to Disneyland,
No. Haven't been there either.
although when I went to Disneyland, it was probably a lot different considering we're talking like early 80s.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's a little different.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was in Busch Gardens in the early 80s too, and it's definitely a lot different now.
I went there in 91.
Oh no, I had been
Busch
there a few
Gardens.
times before that, but
But
anyway.
before that, well, last year was the first year since 91 I had been there at all.
Oh wow. Mhm.
So it's been a while.
Yeah. I was at Sesame Place too when I was little, right when they opened, because it was right around the corner from my dad's house. So it was like, oh, look, Sesame Place. Okay. They had nothing in there. It's definitely a lot different now than it was when it first opened. But anyway, so back to our.
Mandalorian stuff.
Yeah,
I'll
we
bet-
got off. We went somewhere
I'll-
else. We're back now.
Well, we were still on the Galaxy's Edge stuff, which is still
Right.
kind of related because they might actually start gearing more and more stuff towards the Mandalorian since that's such a cash cow for them.
That would make sense. I mean, but yet they're only into what? I don't know how many episodes are in the season, but I don't even know how many I watched yet. But anyway, they're not even through their second season, but I'm sure that that's going to be something that's going to be long lasting. And it sounds as though they might be trying to ride that wave for as long as they can.
Well, the Imagineers actually wanted to base the Galaxy's Edge on the original trilogy and
Well, yeah.
all the other Star Wars movies so that it would draw
Mm-hmm.
the other people. And it did not draw as much people when Kathleen Kennedy overrid them and said, basically, you're doing a new planet. And at the time, it didn't exist in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, they like Galaxy's Edge, but it's not as popular as it could be. So it's not as profitable for them as it could have been had they gone with the original stuff.
Right. Well, I'm sure they'll be changing stuff, and I'm sure because they do that all the time anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're gonna really
Add the Mandalorian into it.
Oh yeah, that's
they're gonna hot.
Yeah.
They're gonna hot and heavy the Mandalorian stuff. You can almost guarantee they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was out shopping earlier, there was stuff everywhere.
Mandalorian stuff?
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Just saying.
You
Just
can't call him
saying.
Baby Yoda anymore.
Huh? I know, but it's apt to our discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind
And
of it's fitting to
I'm
show
just
the
an elf for the
Mandalorian
day.
shirt. You've seen that. You've seen my Baby Yoda shirt, haven't you?
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
I even got the little animatronic one and the little stuffed one, and
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody's getting into the good old Baby Yoda stuff.
Yes, well, not so Baby Yoda anymore because he's got a new name now.
Yes, finally.
We got his name, but I think they're still going to end up calling him Baby Yoda for a long time.
I'm sure.
Until his name becomes mainstream, they're going to keep calling him Baby Yoda for quite a bit longer.
Yes.
And the merchandise may or may not put his name or keep saying the child.
Well, I don't know the child. I mean, it's
We'll probably get a mix of the child and his name.
mm-hmm.
Probably all of the stuff that's already been designed and manufactured and the packaging is already done and all that other stuff will probably keep the child.
Yeah.
And then all the newer stuff that comes out after, they'll probably re-release everything that they've already released again with the name,
right?
So that you have to buy
You
both,
gotta buy both.
So that you get all of the merchandise with the child name and all the merchandise with his current name, so that you can have a complete collection.
Yes.
The way of the collector.
Uh-huh.
The way
you
of the
will buy the new merchandise.
I know, right? do the hand thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do the hand thing.
Hey, kid, do the hand thing.
If only that really worked.
Hey, even Creed knows you have to use the hand thing.
Well, listen, I got to go. I got another meeting I got to get on.
Okay.
If you guys want to stay on, I'll make Cheryl host.
Well, I've got to get off because I need to eat dinner.
Oh, okay. I can make Christopher host none.
Okay.
You guys want to stay on?
We can just, I guess, cut off the recording part and then make me host, and we'll go from